Hello and welcome. It's me, Marls44. Welcome back to another Cardfight Vanguard Cardfight area deck profile. Today's deck profile we have the Dragon that has a pretty badass sword. Supremacy Dragon, Claret Sword Dragon. So with the release of GBT06, Claret Sword got a awesome update. And yeah, it's still one of the best decks in the meta right now. Just a little scarier now, and just very, very strong, very consistent, has everything going for it, you know, consistency, pluses, retiring, power-ups, and lots of pressure on your opponent, so amazing, amazing deck, and just so good. So, let's go into the deck profile. Our starter is Cradle Knight Oscar. What he does is G-Break 1, put it in your soul. If you Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon and its card name, search your deck for up to one grade 1 card, reveal it to your opponent, shuffle the rest of your deck, and then put that card on top of your deck. Then if you put that card on top of your deck, countercharge 1. So you unflip 1. That's honestly so helpful. I used quite a bit of counterblast in this deck, so the unflip is very handy. On top of the fact that that's kind of like a Conroe ability. Instead of it going to your hand, it goes to the top of your deck, and you'll drive check it. And it's, of course, not banned as a starter. This thing's legal as a starter for now. But it's only for Claret Sword Dragon, so it'll probably stay legal just because it's, you know, a specific type thing. Unless there's more Claret Sword Dragons in the future. But yeah, just amazing starter. Very, very similar to Conroe and how he works. Yeah, most of the time you'll get one of two. Not most of the time, sorry. All the time you'll get one of two grade 1s. You will either get your Stride Enabler or your P-Guard. So it depends. If you need your Stride Enabler because you know you need it for striding, you grab that. If you don't, you grab a P-Guard. It's one or the other. The only time I can see you grabbing Abyss Summoner, which is one of your other grade 1s, because you don't want to grab the other one because you kind of want it to be called from the deck because of how it combos. So Abyss Summoner is one of your other grade 1s. And the only reason you want to put it at the top of the deck is if you have no grade 1s whatsoever, and you have something to stride with. But that depends too if you have Claret Sword, right? So, anyways, moving on to grade 3s. So we have 4. Claret Sword Dragon, your main Vanguard, main boss card, amazing card, so strong, and just insane. This is what the deck profile is based around. Amazing. And then we have 4 Whirlwind of Darkness, Vortimer, Diablo. So we're using Diablo as a back Vanguard. Reason being is because he synergizes well with the Diablo strides, so it makes him a pretty good back of Vanguard to help thin out your deck and get superior calls for, you know, when you use the Diablo's effects, since they kill cards. And he also combos even better with, you know, the restanding one. So yeah, he's very, very good with that, and because of that, he's the perfect backup Vanguard, because if you don't get Claret Sword, you could kind of just use him to thin out your deck, and more than you already have, and just, you know, combo with it to get cards and then kill those cards, kind of thing, since you're going to be killing them. So he works well with the Diablo strides. So yeah. Anyways, on to grade 2. So we have 4 Dark Knight Maiden Macha. So Macha, so important. Need to run 4 of her. And then we have 4 Darkpride Dragon. What he does is G-Break 1. When this unit is put into the drop zone from rearguard for the cost of your ability, if you have a grade 3 grade Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon and its card name, search your deck for up to 1 card named Darkquartz Dragon, call it to rearguard, and shuffle your deck. And if you call that card, you countercharge 1, so you unflip 1, which is really big, as I said, because you do quite a bit of counterblasting, so the unflip is super amazing. Plus, it's basically like you get to use your ability. So say you had Phantom Blast or Diablo. What if you had him on 2 sides? You kill both of them, you call 2 quartz doesn't even matter if they're in the front or not, because you'll probably end up having to kill a couple cards again anyways, right? And the Quartz get to power up your Vanguard, so if it's the restanding Vanguard, that's even scarier. And then this guy unflips damage. Yeah, he combos really, really well with your strides, basically, because of just how good he is with them, because you use him for a sacrifice, and he gets you something out of it instead of just you kind of kill cards. You kill something and then something else comes, right? So that's really, really important and very, very good, and he's very helpful for the unflipping too, so he's just so good. Anyways, then we have 3 Greymyu. What he does is G-Break 1, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 when this unit is placed on Vanguard. If you have Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon, its card name, you pay the cost. If you do, you search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card. Call its rearguard, shuffle your deck, and this unit gets plus 2k. So your 11k beater that, with a Counterblast, Soul Blast does something. Pretty standard. Just need 3 of them. More than that's too much, honestly, especially with what else you need to run in the deck. There's more preferred cards, so 3 of these is perfectly fine. And yeah, your other cards are much more important anyways. So 3's awesome. 3's good. On to grade 1s. 4 Karma Collector. Damage on flipping perfect guard. And then we have 4 Darkquartz Dragon. What he does is G-Break 1. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon in its card name, choose one of your Vanguards and that unit and this unit get plus 3,000 until end of turn. So this card's really, really good for like the combos and everything with Darkpride Dragon and your strides. Because once you kill the stuff, this card gets called. It's a 10k. If you get 2 of these in the same column, that's 20k, and you'll probably kill the one in the front row the next turn, as I said. And if they're in separate columns, they can be boosting cards, and if there's 11ks in the front row, because Claret Sword gives something plus 2k when he calls it. On top of that, that it could be a card that also powers up. So there's multiple factors you could put into it, like Abyss Summoner powers up. He's another grade 1 card. He powers up when something dies, so if you superior called him with Claret Sword, he gets plus 2k that turn. He's 9k, then he gets plus 3k when something dies, and then you call this card like in front of it after Darkpride dies, and then that's and then that's 22k, so you hit that mark with grade 1s nonetheless, but you hit that mark, and then you can just, after you just kind of kill them, you kill him and then maybe get something else out the next turn with your skills, and it's some pretty gross combos, honestly. This card's really amazing, and it powers up your Vanguard too, which is scary because if it's the restanding Vanguard, and if you grab a couple of these, like if 2 Darkprides die and 2 of these get called, that's a 6k on your Vanguard, on top of the fact that you have 2 10ks now, so a 10k grade 1s now, so it's pretty scary with what you can do with it, and just amazing card to combo to get something back for killing something, and to just get power-ups from it too, right? And then we have 3 Knight of Yearning Branwen, Stride Enabler, Claret Sword Searcher, and then 3 Abyss Summoner. What he does, once per turn, G-Break 1, when your Vanguard's put into the drop zone for the cost of your ability. If you have a Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon in its card name, countercharge 1, soul charge 1, and this unit gets power plus 3,000 until end of turn. So, yeah, he basically becomes 10k until end of turn. And if Claret Sword Dragon's skill was off on him, he gets an extra 2k, right? So, pretty scary. And, I mean, even without that, you can make a 20k column with grade 1s, with the card that should have been dead, right? And if not, you could have already attacked with them, and then attacked with Quartz if he can swing for like a rear guard or something. Maybe he gets powered up or something. I don't know, right? So there's there's so many scenarios you can do with these cards, which also makes it really consistent and just very, very scary how you can do multiple things with them in multiple situations, depending on like what you get, right? So it's very, very, it's just insanely scary. Like it combos in so many different ways. Of course, there are some that are better than others, but they still work. So yeah, that's really what makes this deck so consistent. Anyways, onto our triggers. We have four. There you are. 4 Taboo Demonic Mage Cafar. What it does, put in your soul when your Vanguard attacks if you grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Claret Sword Dragon. Its card name. You can pay the cost. If you do, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets power plus 5,000 until its turn. If the power-ups weren't enough. So 4 of him, and then we have 4 jumping Knight Ligan Lumna. And then 4 Gravehorn Unicorn, so 8 crit. 12 crit. And then we have 4 Flatbau, 4 heal. So 12 crit, 4 heal. You don't need the draws because you plus a lot, even though you do retire. You don't need them. On top of the fact that you just deal so much pressure, it's better to have the crits anyways, and you could just, it's more for like pressure and how the deck works around, works with it, and you know, it thins out so much, and just on top of the thinning, the lots of calling, even though you kill cards, you get cards back sometimes, and just the flat how much pressure there is, it's better to run the 12 crit. All of that makes it better. Anyways, Stride units, 4 Dark Dragon Phantom Blaster Diablo, so 4 of these babies, and then we have 3 Dark Dragon Spectral Blaster Diablo. So your restanding one. So I'm still running 4 and 3 like I did with Blaster Dark Diablo. You could choose not to. You can run, you know, 4 Phantom Blaster Diablo and 2 Spectral Blaster Diablo, or you could switch it around to 2 Phantom Blaster Diablo and 4 Spectral Blaster Diablo, depending. And then you can run, like, you know, 1 Dark Knight Efficient, which I find I never ever need. But the reason I run like 4 and 3 is the same reason the last time. The reason being, and it makes more sense. It makes just as much sense in this deck, actually, a bit more actually, because of all the power-ups you get. You know, the restanding one, it makes it scarier. The thing about the restanding one is it's quite a hefty cost, so when you can use it, you want it, right? But it's quite a hefty cost, so Phantom Blaster Abyss is more consistent because of it. Even with your unflips, you know, you do counterblast quite a bit too, and you have the unflips to help out, and unflipping P guards too, which is big. But there are times you get to use a Spectral Blaster Diablo a second time, and there are times you don't. So that's kind of why I still run 4-3, because, you know, Spectral Blaster Diablo doesn't have to unflip himself; he could unflip any others, and I just think it's better that way because of all the power-ups you can give to your Vanguard with it too, and he has to restand. Your opponent's not going to have 4 P-guards in a row for that. Like, that's insane. Even 2 is pushing it. Like, your opponent's not going to have 2 in a row. Maybe, it's possible, but most of the time, no. So, that's why I run 4 and 3 still, for this deck, just like I did with the Blaster Dark Diablo one. This one, as I said, makes more sense for it, but the other one still made sense, so then why not run it like this, right? But of course, it's all preference. So if you want to run 4-2, you can. If you want to run 2-4, you can, and you can run one of these guys as well. Then, if you run that. But if you want to run it like me, go ahead. I prefer it this way, definitely. And then you have 1 Dark Knight Grim Recruiter, your starting Stride unit. Yeah. Another thing about that, actually, the 4 and 3 of the Diablos, the Strides. The other thing I wanted to say about it is actually just you can end games really fast with them, like crazy fast, because of how strong they are too. So running the 4 and 3 isn't too big of a deal anyways, because you just end games so fast with the both of them. Like before Spectral Diablo was out, you you ended games so fast with Phantom Blaster. So now that both are out, it's very, very easy to end games with them. So that's part of the reason why I think the 4 and 3 is better, because it just gives you more flexibility with that, and since you end games so fast, it's not a big deal. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me for this deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Deck list will be in the description below, as always. That's about it. I'll see you guys next time.